morning, students. I am Dr. Swati Rajput, faculty Shaheed Bhagat Singh College, and I am teaching Geography of Health and Well-being. This is a syllabus for Geography on a 6th semester. The chapter is chapter number 5, which deals with climate change and human health. In this chapter has been broadly categorized into 3 categories. One is changes in climate system and pollution related issues or diseases. Second is biological disease agents, and third part is food production and nutrition related deficiency diseases. Whenever we talk about climate change, some questions that trigger our mind is climate really changing? If no, then why such hue and cry? If yes, what's the real cause and how is it going to impact us? Well, students, here I skip the possibility of no, as the Intergovernmental Panel of Climate Change has that is an intergovernmental body of United Nations. It says that scientific evidence of warming of climate system is unequivocal, as now it is evident from the observations in global average air and ocean temperature, widespread melting of snow and ice, and rising sea levels. Now, what is climate change? Well, it is a long-term change in global and regional patterns of climatic phenomena like temperature, rainfall, humidity, etc. The climatic changes are slow and steady. It can be caused due to both natural and man-made factors. Climate change has serious repercussions on human and nature. How climate is changing? Climate has always been changing in human historical understanding. Humans have surpassed several climatic ages. According to NASA, in past 650,000 years, there has been around 7 cycles of glacial advance and retreat. Last ice age abruptly ended some 11,700 years ago. Now, so if we are talking about climate change, let us understand what is climate system. So the Earth's physical climate system, which includes the atmosphere, oceans, cryosphere and land surface, is complex and constantly evolving. Nevertheless, the laws of physics and chemistry and biology ultimately governs the system and can be used to understand how and why climate varies from place to place and over time. For example, the energy balance of the Earth as a whole is determined by the difference between incoming and outgoing energies at the top of the atmosphere. If we see the components of constituents of the climate systems, then what are these constituents? One is the greenhouse effect, and we all understand what greenhouse effect is. The temperature of the Earth's surface and lower atmosphere depends on broader range of factors, but the transfer of radiation again plays an important role, as does the composition of the atmosphere itself. Nitrogen and oxygen make up most of the atmosphere, but these gases have almost no effect on either the incoming radiation from the sun or the outgoing radiation emitted by the Earth's surface. Certain other gases, however, absorbs and re-emit the infrared radiations emitted by the surface, effectively trapping the heat in the lower atmosphere and keeping the Earth's surface much warmer, that is roughly around 33 degrees Celsius warmer than it would have been if greenhouse gases were not present. This is called greenhouse effect, and the gases that cause it, including water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane and nitrous oxide, are called greenhouse gases. The second component and very prominent is carbon dioxide. The important role of carbon dioxide in the Earth's energy system, energy balance, has been appreciated since the last 19th century. there's a great link between carbon dioxide levels and temperature. At that time, humans were only beginning to burn fossil fuels, which include coal, oil, and natural gas, on a wide scale for energy. The combustion of these fuels or any other material of organic origin yields mostly carbon dioxide and water vapor, but also small amount of other byproducts such as soot, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, and nitrogen oxide. All these substances occur naturally in the atmosphere, and natural substances occur naturally, all these substances occur naturally on the atmosphere, and natural substances occur natural fluxes of water and carbon dioxide between the atmosphere, ocean, and land surfaces play a critical role in both physical and climate system and the Earth's biosphere. Now, the third very important component is the climate forcing. Now, what is climate forcing? Like changes in radioactive balance of the Earth, including the enhanced greenhouse effect associated with rising atmosphere carbon dioxide concentrations, are referred to as climate forcings. And climate forcings are estimated by performing detailed calculations of how the presence of a forcing agent such as excess of carbon dioxide from human activities affects the transfer of radiation through the Earth's atmosphere. So now we know that climate change is linked to health, and Sustainable Development Goals also focus on this. Sustainable Development Goal 13 is to take urgent action to combat climate change and its impact. Sustainable Development Goal 3 is to ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. Climate and health are closely linked. Action on one gets result in the other. If we simplify the whole thing and try to understand how climate change is impacting the health, we will find that excessive burning of fossil fuels led to excess of unwanted gases in the air like carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, methane, sulfur dioxide, etc. Respiratory diseases such as loss of lung capacity, asthma, bronchitis, and possibly cancer are a repercussion of this climate change. Here we can see in this graph, we can see that how carbon dioxide has been increasing over the years, and according to USGC, global monthly average concentration of carbon dioxide has risen steadily from 330 ppm in 1980 to 407 ppm in 2018, an increase of more than 20% in less than 40 years. Excess of breathing of carbon dioxide can lead to various health issues like breathing troubles, increase in heart rate, elevated blood pressures, etc. In the next graph, we see that since 1979 and based on direct atmospheric measurements, this is the source of NOAA, that similarly methane like carbon dioxide has increased over the period of time, and the concentration has almost increased from 1550 ppb to 1800 ppb in about 40 years. In July 2018, it is around 1862 ppb, nearly 3% of increase since 2010. And according to Toxtown NIH, excessive methane in the air can lead to suffocation, loss of consciousness, nausea, vomiting, and loss of coordination. Coming to the next graph, we can see that nitrogen oxide concentration in the atmosphere has also increased, and in the last, say, nitrogen dioxide concentration in air has also drastically risen in last 50 years. Presently, it is 329.9 parts per billion. According to NCBI, that is National Center of Biotechnology Information, excessive exposure of nitrous oxide leads to high blood pressure, nausea, headache, and breathing disorders. Atmospheric concentration of two halogenated gases with the largest individual climate forcing, This is CFC 11 and CFC 12. From 1979 to 2008, we can see that the Montreal Protocol limited the production of these and other compounds, and so their atmospheric concentrations are now slowly declining. And so NOAA increase in CFC in air can lead to skin cancer and cataracts. It can damage immune system and terrestrial and aquatic plant life. Now, analysis of ice core data extending back 800,000 years document the Earth's changing concentration and estimated temperature in the Antarctic region. Until the past century, natural factors caused atmospheric carbon dioxide concentrations to vary within a range of 180 to 300 ppm. Note that time progress from right to left in the figure, and that neither the temperature changes nor the rapid carbon dioxide rise. And based on the data from LUHI, this particular graph is available. Now, what's broadly happening due to climate change? Well, climate change is leading to a lot of things, but basically it is leading to temperature rise, glacier melting or retreating, then sea water level rise, and change in proportion of greenhouse gases and water vapor in the air. And all this is leading to change in flora and fauna, change in biogeochemical cycles, and change in agriculture and food availability. Why climate change poses a health challenge? Climate change leads to accumulation of greenhouse gases in the air. This makes the Earth's atmosphere warmer and hence makes it denser due to sooty pollutants. Denser air does not allow the pollution to escape, which impact human health by causing respiratory disorders and skin diseases. Similarly, with increase in temperature, there is birth of new life, bacteria, viruses, etc., which impact human health by causing various communicable diseases. Also, change in temperature leads to variations in crop, their biology, their crop growing seasons, production, and overall availability. This is also linked to erratic rainfall that can lead to floods and droughts. The impact on human health by leading, it also leads to nutrition deficiency due to food insecurity. What are the major health issues linked to climate change? And today, as I have already mentioned, we'll be talking about pollution-based health issues. Students, it is to notice that climate change coupled with air pollution can have harmful health effects. As discussed earlier, due to rise in temperature and excessive evaporation, accumulation of heavy pollutants in the air, the pollutants in the lower strata of the air not able to escape easily from the Earth's atmosphere. Therefore, humans are supposed to breathe polluted air. Many diseases are caused due to this air pollution. Due to industrialization, forest fires, urbanization, etc., the excessive burning of fossil fuels occur that cause acid rains, which harm our water bodies, soil, trees, animals, and humans. According to WHO, 7 million premature deaths annually are linked to air pollution. Air pollution is also linked to cardiovascular diseases and acute respiratory infections. Let's learn about the link between air pollution, climate change, and health. There are various components to the air pollution which finally leads to health issues, and one of them is black carbon. It is a short-lived climate pollutant which is called SLCP, and that is a major component of health. Harmful PM 2.5 in air pollution, particularly from diesel vehicles, diesel engines, coals and biomass stoves, and waste incarnation, black carbon particles that settle on snow and ice surface can also lead to accelerate the melting of the snows. Second component is ground level ozone. It is also an it is also a SLCP formed by a mix of air pollutant typically emitted over the cities or nearby the rural areas, including methane from the urban sewage waste and agriculture, as well as NOx from the vehicles. Aerosols are the third components, and they are small liquid and small particles suspended in the atmosphere. Aerosols can be composed of many different chemicals that come from many different sources, including both natural source as well as human activities, and have a wide range of effects. Fossil fuel burning, industrial activity, land use change, and other human activities have generally increased the number of aerosol particles in the atmosphere, especially over the downwind of industrialized countries. Industrial emissions that give rise to SO4 aerosols also contribute to acid rains, which has a major detrimental effect on certain ecosystems. These gases cause respiratory illness, and ozone decreases crop yields and contribute to climate change. What else? Well, climate change and weather also affects spatial and temporal distribution of air pollution concentration. Scientific assessment have shown that warmer temperatures fueled by climate change promote the formation of more ground level ozone. Warmer temperatures over longer seasons also lengthens the rageweed pollen grains pollen production seasons in many parts of US, and these pollutants, ozone and pollens, can worsen the existing respiratory allergies and asthmas, and they can serve as trigger to the asthmatic attacks. Let's understand this by looking at some data, and according to WHO, air pollution, as already mentioned, has linked to 7 million premature deaths. Here we can see that the contribution of outdoor air pollution, if we see then 40% of it leads to various heart diseases, 40% to strokes, 11% to chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases, 6% lung cancer, 3% acute lower respiratory infections in children. And if we see the indoor air pollution, we will see that around 34% it leads to the strokes are caused due to it, 26% coronary artery disease or heart diseases are linked to indoor air pollution, 22% of COPD, that is chronic obstruction pulmonary diseases, are linked to indoor air pollution, 12% of acute lower respiratory infections in children, and 6% of lung cancer is linked to indoor air pollution. These are the references. And thank you so much, students. In the next module, we will discuss climate change, nutrition and health issues. Thank you.